any single type of science that you want to do, it's going to be in the science lab.
There's just so many cool things that you can look at. Everything was in the science lab. Everything that I read, I had to do.
You're going from the classroom to the science lab, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you're never bored.
Herbert Spencer was a 19th century philosopher, and he said the great aim of education is not knowledge, but action. Action is the one thing that we do in the lab. It's not just memorizing a formula, it's actually doing it and getting the hands-on. Anything that gets a student to take data and think with it and come out with something else, whether it's a new experiment or a different way of doing something, is science. It doesn't have to be what's in the textbook.
Our curriculum is basically theory, science lab. Theory, science lab. We go out of our way to make sure that students are connecting the ideas that they read in the book with something that they can actually feel, observe in their hands.
You could read about microorganisms or DNA strands or heredity and how that works. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, but seeing how it actually does work, those things do exist, and how it is the basis of life is just crazy to me, and that the science lab really brings that to life.
You're actually using different tools to understand how all this theory makes sense because you're seeing it, you're seeing the science.
Sometimes I ask questions of the student. Well, what if you did that? What would happen? And if they said, well, I don't know, I'd say, well, try it.
Students will do a science project where they get to propose some question that they have and work through the scientific method and learn something, achieve something, create some product in the area of science.
If they read about an experiment and do it, they've duplicated the experiment. The result is already known. But when they have to come up with their own idea based on what they understand and believe, and then test the idea, they're really right into the scientific method and our scientists themselves.
Right now, I'm doing an experiment where I made a bunch of Petri dishes with agar. I made my friend spit into it so I could see all the bacteria that would grow. And I tested what type of toothpaste would be best to kill those microorganisms.
I decided that I wanted to figure out how to make electrolytes, what's actually in them, and then be able to see which one actually helps my body the most.
I did a science project about rocket making. At the start of the project, we had a lot of confidence, but our fuel wasn't very refined. We started off with a mixture of potassium nitrate and sugar. It was a mess. But as we progressed and went through it, we learned from every single one of our mistakes. And at the end, we finally got one to go. It was about 50 feet in the air, which is very amazing.
If kids aren't having fun in my lab, they're doing something wrong because we're letting them explore things that they're interested in exploring. And we're doing it in an atmosphere that's conducive to learning because it's friendly, it's safe, and it's one where they can explore and fail. That's what science is. It's trying and failing and persevering to the point where they succeed. That's one of the things I love about my job. Students are free to ask questions. Students are free to go as fast as they want to go on this freeway. There's no speed limit, and they can have fun. This is truly no student left behind. If we want a school system that creates graduates that can go out in the world and succeed, we need a school system that gets a student to want to know more. And if we can do that, we've succeeded. My job isn't to stuff their head with facts. Not my job. My job is to help them achieve their goals.